A man struggles to raise his triplets after the death of his wife, believing that they were his. However, things soon hit rock bottom one day when he meets a stranger in the cemetery and discovers that the babies he had dedicated himself to raising for so long were not actually his own. Dry, rotting, brown leaves crackled under Jordan Fox's boots as he pushed his stroller into the ornate gate of the Manhattan Cemetery. Dried flowers and half-burnt candles were scattered across the lawn. A gust of wind howled through the row of eastern red cedars, breaking the grave silence as he made his way to the grave of his late wife Kyra. It was his first death anniversary. "Let's see Mom," he told baby Alan, one of the triplets supporting the bulky but with diapers on his left hip. The other two, Eric and Stan, were lying in the cart, watching the sky and babbling at the sight of dragonflies. Upon arriving, Jordan's heart raced as he saw the silhouette of a stranger, apparently in his late 60s, standing near Kyra's grave. The man adjusted his Irish cap as he leaned over to brush the tombstone with the epitaph that read, "A sparkle in our eyes and hearts is now in the heavens. In loving memory of Kyra Fox." Jordan tried hard to remember, but he couldn't recognize the tall, stout man. "Who is he, and what is he doing near my wife's grave?" he wondered and approached him. "Amen," the man said with a crooked smile as he finished the sign of the cross, turning sternly to greet Jordan. He smiled, eagerness filling his eyes as he raised his hand for a handshake, but withdrew it as soon as his gaze turned to the babies. Jordan's eyebrows narrowed in surprise. He wanted to know who this guy was and what he was doing at Kyra's grave. As far as Jordan could remember, he had never seen this man around here before, not even at Kyra's funeral. So who is he, and what is he doing here? Jordan was intrigued. "I'm offering you $100,000. I'm ready to give you more if you want it. Take the money and give me the babies." "You must be Jordan Fox." "It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Fox," the guy uttered. "I knew you would come here today, and I was waiting for you. I'm Dennis, of Chicago, Kyra's old friend." Jordan was a little surprised that Kyra never told him about having a friend from Chicago who was old and whose name was Dennis. "Nice to meet you, Dennis. I'm not sure I know him. Have we met before?" "I've never been to Chicago before." "Not really. I just arrived in Manhattan. I found out that." Dennis paused and swallowed hard after seeing the babies again. "I can see your babies, if you don't mind?" Jordan hesitated and pretended to ignore the man's request because he wasn't ready to entrust his little ones to a stranger. Dennis took this as a no, but he didn't stop himself from walking forward and leaning over the stroller to see the other two babies. "They are angels, sweet cinnamon rolls. They have my nose and my eyes and my brown hair and those big eyelashes. I had them when I was little," stammered Dennis. He then looked up, saying the unthinkable that Jordan wasn't prepared to hear. "Mr. Fox, I know this may not make sense to you, but I know you must be wondering who I am and why I'm here. I am the real father of the boys, and I have come here to take them." "Excuse me?" Jordan frowned and wanted to slap the man in the face for even saying that. He spared him for his age and tried to sneak past him, thinking he was crazy. "Mr. Fox, please believe me. I am the father of the children. A mistake I made in the past still haunts me. I want to fix it before it's too late. Please send the children with me. I even have an amazing offer for you." "Are you crazy, old man? Get out of my way before I call the police." Jordan held the stroller and baby Alan tighter and ignored the guy. But Dennis didn't relent and began to reveal intricate details about the late Kyra that scared Jordan. "Kyra, your wife? She loved disco and bikes. She was a brunette with a taste for French art and cuisine. Soup à l'oignon and crème brûlée were his favorites. She was allergic to peanuts and had a small burn scar on her right thigh. And she had that?" "Enough. Stop," Jordan screamed. "I don't want to hear anything more about my wife. Who the hell are you? And how do you know all this? What do you want?" "I said I'm the father of her children. Mr. Fox, I know it's weird, and I can't get custody of my children. I know that. Okay? But I am sure you would not want to waste your youth on them and would appreciate my company in raising them. You are young and charming and still have a whole life ahead of you. But look at me. I'm old and I don't have anyone but these babies. I want them back. Please give them to me and move on. Look, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's none of your business what I need to do in life, okay? Are you crazy, old man? You look crazy. Go get a life. I don't know you, and I think you mistook me for someone. Step aside and stay away from my children. Mr. Fox, the children are mine, and that's the truth. And I'm ready to do anything to take them with me. But I don't want to spoil things for you, since you've been creating them for so long. So, let me get this straight. I'm offering you $100,000. I'm ready to give you more if you want. Take the money and give me the babies. I know more about your wife Kyra than you know about her. Take your time and get back to me, okay? Here's my card. Tears of shock and sadness welled up in Jordan's eyes. He couldn't believe Dennis knew so much about Kyra. For a moment, he wanted to think it was a lie, and that some random older man was playing a trick on him. Unfortunately, Jordan couldn't get past Dennis by mentioning the burn mark on Kyra's right thigh. It's not bribery, Mr. Fox. See, I want to thank you for raising my babies, okay? And you don't have to worry about anything. I am 57 years old and have enough experience in raising children. You should be happy to put them in good and reliable hands. I know what you must be feeling, but don't worry. Think carefully and come back. Call me at this number. How are you? I'll be waiting. Dennis Roberts hates no for an answer, so? Dennis put a business card in Jordan's hand and ran off, leaving him with more than just a shock and a broken heart. The flickering flame and candle smoke on Kyra's tombstone brought Jordan back to the moment. He placed the bouquet on the grave, and after a minute of silence, he ran out of the cemetery with his babies. For a moment, he was haunted by everything Dennis told him. Jordan couldn't concentrate on the road. He would stop the car at random intervals on the side of the road, trying to concentrate but in vain. Was everything she told me a lie then? How could she do this to me? He shouted, hallucinating Kyra sitting next to him in the passenger seat. Jordan needed answers to many questions and didn't want to buy Dennis' words. But the part about the burn scar on her right thigh? He couldn't help but suspect her, considering the circumstances in which he met her 2 years ago. It was the spring of 2016. Jordan was making shots of cocktails behind the bar counter when his gaze fell on a young and beautiful Kyra. She was with her friends and was the loudest of the gang. Jordan thought she was beautiful and longed to date such a beautiful woman, but he never found the means or time to do so. As the days passed, Kyra began to frequent the bar, and Jordan was more than happy to serve her whenever she visited. "One more margarita on the rocks, please," she would always tell him with a bright smile flashing on her face. Kyra never even looked at Jordan differently and just treated him like a kind young bartender. But he had already fallen madly in love with her. He went out to the night shift daily, rehearsing a smile and styling his hair, black bow tie, and soft gray shirt at least a dozen times, confident of impressing Kyra. One night, Jordan was devastated after seeing her kissing another guy at the bar. Reality hit him hard when he understood that Kyra was just treating him like a bartender and nothing special. Heartbroken, Jordan began to keep his distance from her, knowing that she would never be his. However, one night, he couldn't help himself when he saw Kyra crying bitterly alone in the lounge. "Miss, hey, are you okay?" he asked and saw her boyfriend, Sean, dancing with another girl. Jordan's heart melted, and he was able to partially guess what had hurt Kyra. His eyes were swollen and reddened. Patches of hot tears ran down her cheeks, leaving discolored patches of smudged eyeliner on her makeup. "I want to go somewhere. Can you take me away, please? I feel like dying." She buried her face and cried into her palms. She cried wholeheartedly to a stranger, but Jordan didn't treat her like one. She meant more than anything else to him, so he was ready to do anything to calm her down. He took an hour off and offered to drop her off at home, as she was too drunk to go out on her own. "Sean and I have known each other for 6 months, Kyra shouted, her breath reeking of alcohol. "That pervert. He left me for that stupid Lily. What does she have that I don't have? Idiot. He said he didn't want to continue this with me. That? I'm sorry for you. Be strong, miss. Happens, and life has to go on. Maybe he doesn't deserve you. The loss is his. Please don't cry. I'll always be here as your friend when you need me. Okay?" Kyra nodded, her moist gaze fixed on Jordan before collapsing in the seat. He woke her up when he arrived outside her house and helped her out. "Thank you, Jordan." Kyra smiled through the fog glass of the car. "See you around." After that, their meetings became a ritual. Jordan and Kyra fell in love and started dating. They danced, strolled through the nightlit streets of Manhattan, and kissed before saying "I love you." He asked her to promise to stop drinking, and she agreed. She asked him to promise not to leave her as her ex-boyfriend, and he assured her of that. It had only been 2 weeks since their love story blossomed when Kyra told Jordan she was pregnant with her triplets and convinced him to marry her. He was shocked because it happened too fast. He wasn't prepared for it, but he was thrilled to become a father. Soon, the couple tied the knot in a private ceremony, and it was awkward when no one from Kyra's family attended the wedding. Jordan knew nothing about her parents, and when he asked her, she said they were dead. That was all he knew, and he didn't bother her anymore because he didn't want to hurt her. At that time, nothing mattered more to him than starting his life with her, and he blindly trusted her. It all seemed like a wicked joke now. Jordan kept looking at the wedding ring he was still wearing after Kyra's death and understood that she had always kept him in a web of lies. "I was an idiot. Everything she told me was a lie. Her love was a game. She married me because she needed a man to father someone else's children. I should have known the babies weren't mine when she told me she was pregnant in just 2 weeks. I was so stupid. She cheated on me, that too with an old man. How disgusting." He sniffed, tears streaming endlessly from his bloodshot eyes. The babies woke up suddenly and started crying in the back seat. Jordan was so distraught and upset, and he wanted to run somewhere where he couldn't hear those cries anymore. But at the same time, he couldn't start hating his babies just because someone told him they weren't his. He was confused about the depth of truth in Dennis' claims, so he returned home immediately, still skeptical about the next step. Jordan decided to forget about meeting the stranger and got to work. He placed the babies in the crib, picking them up one at a time to remove their diapers. First it was Alan, then Eric, and then Stan. He bathed his babies and changed their diapers. He sang a lullaby, trying his best not to sound like a hungry bear growling in the woods. After the 3 of them slept in their cribs after eating, Jordan started washing the dishes, and before he could finish, he smelled something burning. "Oh, damn it, the spaghetti!" he shouted, almost burning his fingers as he tried to remove the pan from the stove. Then he remembered the laundry to wash and ran upstairs to a bathroom overflowing with foam. Jordan had used a lot of detergent due to stress. It seemed that it was raining only problems in his life that day. He saw that it was almost time to run to the bar for the night shift. He then called Mrs. Wills, his elderly neighbor, to come and take care of the children. "Thank you, Mrs. Wills. I'll be here until you arrive," he told her, and went to check on his babies. They were fast asleep in their crib. Jordan was distraught at the sight of them and could not be at peace. Before, he felt that he had the energy and spirit to do anything for his children. But now, everything seemed so different and sour, and Dennis' words kept echoing in his head. "Why did you do this to me, Kyra? I never lied or cheated on you. How could you do that then? You've always lied to me about everything, and I'm not able to tell what's true and what's not. Even on the day you died, you told me you were at the party. I still don't know where you went that night," Jordan whimpered, tears running through his creases as he remembered the dark day that still haunted him. It was a rainy night, and Jordan was restless as he looked out the window to see if Kyra had arrived. Her phone started to heat up due to the constant calls to all of her friends, asking if she was with them. Kyra told him that she was at a friend's party, but no one had seen her around. His phone was turned off, probably due to the dead battery, and Jordan began to panic as it was almost midnight. Their newborn babies began to cry. They were hungry, and he didn't know how to calm them down. Jordan somehow put his babies to sleep. He pulled out his phone to see if Kyra had called, and received a call from the station. "Yes, this is Jordan Fox. Mr. Fox, we're calling from the station. Could you please come to the morgue? We need help identifying a woman's body." Jordan broke out in a sweat while rushing to the hospital after leaving his babies with his neighbor. He was called in to identify the body of a young woman found in a car accident that night. He slowed down and nearly froze when the thin white sheet over his body was lifted for identification. Jordan's heart sank, and tears rained down in his eyes. Kyra's lifeless body lay motionless, and it was later revealed that she was overdosing on drugs at the time of the accident. Jordan's world changed after that. He felt numb, weak, and afraid to raise his babies alone. He felt guilty that he was alive, and at some point, his tears stopped due to anger. Jordan couldn't forgive Kyra for leaving him with such a huge responsibility on his shoulders. He couldn't accept her loss and move on, but he forced himself to do so after seeing his children. They were the only reason that kept him moving. He swore to himself that he would do anything to give his children a good life. Jordan didn't date any other women after that because he still loved Kyra. He still wore their wedding ring and believed she hadn't gone anywhere. He took on the role of father and mother to his 3 young children and dedicated his entire life to them. Jordan alternated between work and his babies and barely found time for himself. He had forgotten what a quiet night it was like. He stopped relaxing with his friends and started living a life that was more about his babies than himself. But now, after discovering that he wasn't their real father, he began to doubt if he would be able to see them the same way again, and if he would really want to spend his time and energy raising them. "I can't do that anymore. I just can't," Jordan stammered, pushing his chair, his legs scraping against the wooden floor, waking up his babies. A strange thought struck his mind as he slammed the door and walked away without even saying his usual, "Thank you and have a nice day," to his neighbor Mrs. Wills as she came to take care of the children. Jordan couldn't stay at peace all night in the pub. He returned home after his shift, but went straight to his room to find Dennis' card. He didn't even stop to look at his babies or pet them as usual. Jordan left the room minutes later. His gaze turned to the 3 little ones gesturing to him and babbling "Papa" in his baby language, asking him to carry them. Jordan's heart sank to the ground. How could I even think of abandoning you? I can't live without you. You are my everything. God, how did I even think about leaving them? He cried, his eyes now focused on the connection that was already connected to Dennis. Hello? Hello? Is there anyone there? The older man's weak voice echoed over the phone. Senior Roberts, so you, Jordan. I've been waiting for your call, Mr. Fox. I'm so glad you called me finally. So what did you decide? When should I meet him with the bill and take the babies? I'm sorry, Mr. Roberts, but I cannot accept your offer. A father is one who raises his children, not necessarily one who gives birth to them. I may not be their real father, but they are still my children. I can't imagine a life without them, Jordan said sternly and politely. Mr. Fox, wait a minute, please. Look, we can talk about that again, okay? You don't understand. I want my babies. I can't live without them. I'm sorry, Mr. Roberts. Even I can't live without them. They are my world, and I don't want your money. You can't trade love for money. I'll tell the kids about you when they're grown up. It is up to them to decide who to choose. But I can't send them to you because I love them and I'm their father. Goodbye. Dennis was discouraged. That's okay, if that's your decision. But we can meet tomorrow at the cafe, or maybe at your home. It's up to you. I'm sorry, Mr. Roberts, but I'm busy tomorrow. I don't think I can. Don't you want to know the truth completely, Mr. Fox? I only told you a part of it. There's still something else you don't know. Jordan nodded, catching his breath, surprised by the strangeness of Dennis's question. He took a night shift off the next night and waited anxiously for the man to meet him at his home. Dennis showed up a few hours later with several boxes. Just a few new sweaters, diapers, and blankets for the babies. He laughed as he hung his overcoat on the hanger and settled in. Dennis's gaze fell on the empty crib, and he understood that Jordan had kept his children somewhere, out of his sight and reach. Jordan hated the silence around. He was impatient to know about the truth that the man had bragged about, and after a few seconds of just staring at himself, he broke the silence of the guy. So, what was it? You said I still need to know something. Dennis smiled sternly before opening his blazer and taking an old photo. He kept looking at her, and Jordan thought it was strange. Mr. Roberts, what was it? Look, I don't have time, and I'd appreciate it if you were quick. Suddenly, tears began to roll down Dennis' face. He couldn't contain them while his gaze was still fixed on the photo. Mr. Fox, the babies with you are not yours. They are not mine either. In fact, I'm their grandfather." Dennis then handed Jordan the photo of him with Kyra and stood up, crying and going to the window. "My God, where were you all these days? Kyra told me that her parents were dead. She never told me anything about you. What happened to you? Why didn't you go to her funeral?" "I was a bad father, Mr. Fox," cried Dennis. "I did something that no parent would do with their child. After my wife died, I raised my daughter alone. I gave her everything: love, money, and education. I wanted her to live a life I had imagined, but she lost her way and got lost with her addiction problems. I wanted to send Kyra to rehab and even threatened to disinherit her, but she refused, and things got worse after that. She started coming home late, and I saw a random boy dropping her off at home every night. My name and reputation were being spoiled, so I kicked her out. She was so furious, and before she left, she told me that I was the worst father and told me not to look for her. I thought she'd come back when her money ran out, but she never did. I can't forgive myself for not trying to help my daughter. I abandoned her, and now she's gone forever. But how did you find me? And how did you know the babies weren't mine?" Jordan interrupted Dennis, curious to put the pieces of the puzzle together. "I didn't even know my daughter was married, had kids, and had died until I recently met Amy, her best friend in Chicago. She told me about you and the babies, so I flew here immediately to meet her," Dennis said. "When she was pregnant, Kyra met her friend and confided her fears. She told Amy that she was afraid you would leave her if you found out the babies weren't yours." "My God. So these are the children of her ex-boyfriend, Sean?" Jordan was surprised. "I'm not sure about this because my daughter told Amy that she dated and broke up with 3 other men around the same time she married you. Kyra herself wasn't sure who the father was. We still don't know the real father, and we don't want to know that," Dennis cried. "All I can say is that I'm happy that my grandchildren are with a man they can call Dad. Mr. Fox, only you can love them and raise them well. I'm sorry for lying to you that I was their father. I don't know what went through my head. I was afraid that you wouldn't let me raise them, and I knew that I would never get custody of them unless you turned them over. That's why I offered him money. I'm sorry. I am guilty, and I have no more tears to cry. I'm getting older, and I just want to be a part of my grandchildren's lives. I wasn't a good father, but I want to be a good grandfather." Jordan didn't say anything else and hugged Dennis. It was the least he could do to comfort the old mourner who couldn't forgive himself for leaving his daughter's side when she needed him most. Over time, Dennis began to visit Jordan and the children frequently, and at some point, he even decided to move in with them. He treated Jordan like his son and was happy to be a part of raising his grandchildren. A true father is not only one who gives birth, but one who raises his children with love and care. When Jordan found out that he was not the biological father of his triplets, he decided to put things in place by giving them to Dennis, who claimed to be his biological father. But then, Jordan changed his mind, telling Dennis that a true father is one who raises his children and not just one who gives birth. Don't make a rash decision that could make you regret it for life. When Dennis couldn't deal with his daughter's addiction issues, he told her to go to rehab. When she refused, he kicked her out, knowing that he would never have another chance to see her. Let us know what you think of this story and share it with your friends. It might brighten their day and inspire them. See you in the next exciting story.